Hello.
Hey, welcome to Wealthy Wednesday, our Lunch and Learn series. Super excited about having this series go on through the course of 2025. It is our way to touch a little deeper in all honesty, helping us to achieve our financial goals. Our financial goals for our company are to add or touch 1,000 families this year intimately, changing their financial disposition. And we can only do that by reaching out broad and vast in order to help you elevate your mindset, your life, your money, because your money affects every other aspect of what you're doing, what you want to do, how you do it, what spirit you do it. So today, or let me back up. So last week on Lunch, we talked about an equity line of credit versus uh, a car loan. So which one should you do first? And last week we talked about the number one problem, living paycheck to paycheck, how you can get out of that, how you can avoid that. All of these episodes, all of these lunch and learns, this entire series is available on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Derek Gant 24K. So if you go to YouTube, you can subscribe and you can catch up if you want to know what's what. This week, we are talking about breaking free from credit card debt and giving you some strategies to improve your financial life. I mean, to finally improve your financial life. So, like anything, I wanted to say, good afternoon. Hopefully, you've grabbed your lunch and you are ready to pick up a couple tidbits. So, because of time, we only go about 20 minutes because we don't want to take up your entire lunch. We also want you to know that you have the ability to actually text us and ask questions live while we're on the air, while we're going live to answer your questions specifically to what it pertains to your life. Now, understand that money is taboo, and most people do not like to expose the fact that they are super wealthy. Rich people do not let you know about their money. So if you know somebody that's bragging about what they have nothing, because that's just not normal. And they also, it's taboo because people who don't have money don't want you to know they don't know how to manage their money. It is a scam. It is a scheme. It is money. And I did a TED talk that money is taboo. Talking about money is taboo. It's a great TED talk. I did it years and years ago, and hope that it would become less and less taboo, especially in your household. Meaning, are you teaching your kids about personal finance? Because if you are like 85% of Americans out here, or people that are working, even globally, 85% of people do not have $1,000 saved up. They're living check to check. We talked about this last week. They don't have $1,000 saved up. Today we're going to talk about how you can tackle your debt side. So last week we talked about your paycheck. We talked about some of your basic savings and budgeting strategies. Today we're going to talk about debt. So in the world today, and I don't know who we have on, but somebody's saying hello. Hello, 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 Tara. How are you? I'm glad you're here. Who else is here? I know Bren is here. Thanks, Bren. Thanks, Tara. Whoever else has jumped on, please feel free to ask questions. We're here to make sure that this year is better than any year you've ever had before. So the first thing that I want to share with you when it comes to your money, and it doesn't matter what part of your money, is that we have to begin to shift our money mindset. We have to shift away from that scarcity mindset, that lack mindset, that fear of missing out mindset, because that is the thing that will get you every time. When you're trying to keep up with the latest and greatest iPhone toys or Samsung toys or the latest TV or the latest car, the latest couch, the latest whatever, the latest trip, you're always going to be playing catch up. And playing catch up is never going to get you ahead financially. It's only going to keep you even when you're constantly competing for attention or to be noticed or to stay in the role. So you want to ask yourself, when you're making let's talk about major purchases. When you're making a major purchase, and let's just say a major purchase, I mean, a real major purchase is a car, a home, second home, an investment. But let's say a secondary major purchase, a vacation. You're looking at spending $1,500, $2,000. You got to be able to ask yourself a couple questions. And the first question you want to ask yourself is this purchase going to help me or hurt me? You've got to ask that. Is it going to help me or hurt me? And in order to be able to answer that question, you have to know where you are financially. So you got to go back to week 1, got to go back to week 2, got to do your budget, you got to check out where your money's flowing to understand if it's going to help you or hurt you. You really want a net worth statement, which we'll talk about another day. I know I said that last week, but I didn't promise this week. But in the future, we're going to get to your net worth and why wealthy people focus on that number. And that is truly the number they focus on. They're not focusing on a bunch of things. They want to know, are they growing or are they sliding? And they make their decisions accordingly to stop the bleeding, to increase the profit margin. So we want to shift our mindset. You want to accomplish and strive for a debt-free mindset. And the first thing that you want to do in that process is you want to stop spending. I mean, here's the thing. If you are going to make that secondary purchase like I was just talking about, and you're putting it on your credit card, let me give you a statistic. 46% of people with credit card debt are still paying off purchases they made over 6 months ago. So what they put on their card 6 months ago, they're still paying for today. So that means that they're not going to a zero balance. That means that credit card interest of 20%, 25%, 29% is hitting you every day. And let me tell you something, if you had, let's just say you had $10,000 on your credit card and you're paying 25% interest, you don't need a calculator to know that that's $2,500 in 1 year. That's 25% of the debt that you owe, you're paying in interest. And now you know why they put on the credit card. If you make the minimum payment on your credit card moving forward, you'll be paying this for 360 years. I mean, they tell you right on the statement because it's a law that they can no longer hide from you how bad you're doing financially. People just don't look at it. So what I want to share with you is that if you have $1,000 in your emergency fund and you owe $10,000 on your credit card, you're negative. So you got to get your mindset right. You got to understand where you are, be honest about that before you can fix it and move forward. So we got a couple people making some comments. Hi, Danielle. How are you? So glad that you're on. So, you want to make sure that you're taking a look and you want to shift your mindset. You want to stop the spending because you haven't paid for what you've already put on the card. So stop putting stuff on the card. You cannot clean that thing out if you're continuously adding to it. What you have to have is like a diet, right? If you want to lose weight, they tell you that you have to have a calorie deficit. That means that whatever you were consuming has to go down and you have to consume less and then burn more. And that deficit is what's going to get you in better physical shape. The same thing goes with your money. We have to have a deficit. So we have to stop spending, keep bringing money in, and understand that's the spread you're trying to create. Now, we don't want to focus on the debt side. We want to focus on making more money. But for right now, if we really want to get even, we got to get rid of that credit card debt. So number one, stop the bleeding. So stop spending on the card. Take the card out of your wallet. Take it out of your purse. Take it out of your Apple wallet. Take it out of your Samsung wallet and stop automatically using it every time you go in. Understand that you want to use your debit card until you have earned the right to use credit cards. And earning the right to use credit cards means that whatever you put on that card, you can zero that balance out before the statements due. So you're not paying that 29% interest. Yep, you might be paying some transaction fees. You're paying some merchant fees, but you're not paying that and the 29% interest on the card. So that's number one. Number two is you have to start using your windfalls more intelligently. Windfalls, your lump sums, your bonuses, your tax refunds, the big opportunities for money. You get 3 new clients, you're expecting 2. You got to use that money wisely. You got to use that spread wisely. Now, one of the big mistakes that people make is they'll take their windfall, they'll take their tax return, and they will dump all of it on their debt, or they'll take it and they'll say, I want to pay off my car because I want to increase my cash flow. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there is a ratio of cash to debt that you want to maintain, and you don't want it to be zero cash and 5,000 of debt. So you had 10, you wiped out 5, you still have 5 of debt, and you have no cash. So now if something happens, you have to go back to the card. If you have an emergency, you have to go back to your credit card and run that debt back up. That's not what we want to do. So we can't get into the details, but I'm telling you, you don't want to do that. So don't use every dime of your bonus. Don't use every dime of your refund. Don't use every dime of your pay increase. Let's figure out a way to tackle this debt a little bit smarter. So here's some other things that if you Google, how do I get out of debt, that there's going to pop up. What's going to pop up is negotiate a lower interest rate. You know, it's really difficult if you're jammed up to negotiate a different interest rate. Now, according to the statistics, only 6%. I don't do a lot of talking. Do you have questions? Do you guys have questions? If you have questions, make sure you hit me up, because, you know, I get in the flow talking about money and I can't stop. I'm here to help, and I want you to understand how to make these strides, because this is what is going to change your life forever. When you're in control of yourself, when you're in control of your money, it's going to change your life. It's going to change your attitude. It's going to change your disposition. Let me ask you a question super quick. What is the true cost? I mean, the true cost of you carrying the debt that you're carrying? Because you think it's the 29% I've been talking about. And it is the 29% I've been talking about. But it's also the stress that affects you mentally. It affects you emotionally. You know, what do you wake up thinking about? What do you go to bed thinking about? What do you wake up wringing your hands about? Most of the time, it's related to some money problem that you're looking and you're really needing to fix. And I ask this question because you need to decide how serious you are about tackling your financial life in 2025, because this is the year to become financially free, or at the very least financially secure. And I've explained the difference before. Financial freedom means you have more passive income than active expenses. More passive income than active expenses. Passive income means that you're making money. Your money is making you money without you having to work. And your active expenses are, what do you actually need right now to survive? Food, clothing, shelter, transportation. So when we take a look at that, we're saying, okay, the average household has $6,400 of credit card debt. It's not crushing at 29% interest. So we're just going to round up to 7,000, and we'll do 25% interest. That is $1,700 a year in interest income on the average household. So what that means is that if the average house doesn't have $1,000, the reason why you don't have $1,000 is because you're making that credit card payment, and that you're paying the interest, and only use 25% on your debt, which is almost $2,000. So we got to get rid of it. So you're going to tell you it's difficult to go to a credit institution if you're hemmed up, meaning you're maxed out on your cards, and say, hey, I want to lower the interest that I'm paying to you. And if you've been paying, they're going to say, oh, okay, we would love that too, but we can't afford it. And they're not going to give it to you. It's going to be very hard for you to get it. Here's how you can get it. If you're not hemmed up and you can secure another card, and then you transfer balances and you get that card that has 12 months, no interest, because you have good credit and good payment history and all the things. That's one way, is to transfer balances and then attack that card this year, because we're getting debt free this year, 2025. So hashtag debt free 2025. Attack it while you have this special offer of no interest for 1 year. Transfer the balance. Do not use the card. Start attacking that. So the next thing that I'm going to say is that now that you have a lower interest rate, start making bigger payments. But you got to go back to your budget. Make sure you have an emergency fund. I know it's a lot, but if it was easy, everybody would have stacks on stacks, and they don't. So it's not easy. But it is not sexy either. You want to get into, hey, I want to invest in this and I want to have some Bitcoin. And I get people call me, oh, I got $2,000, want to buy Bitcoin. I know it's a great investment. It's going through the roof, blah, 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 blah. It could double and it's still only $4,000, right? And I'm not dismissing, $4,000. I'm dismissing the fact that most households have a bigger problem. And that problem is don't worry about investing. Let's worry about getting rid of that 25% interest that you're paying, which means let's worry about getting $500 a month, which is $6,000 a year, and putting that on the card to get that average household debt to zero. That's what we're talking about. And you can do it. I promise you, you can do it. But you got to focus and you got to want to do it. So one of the ways that I have done this, and I was only in really bad debt once when I first got out of college, and I bought a car right away, and I bought a bunch of repair equipment for some rental properties that I thought I was smart enough to own. And I ran up some credit card debt to fix these properties. And the properties didn't turn over fast enough to create the revenue to pay the debts back. And so I got hemmed up that way. And I decided that I wanted to get out of debt, and I didn't like it. Even though I wasn't buying vacations and jewelry and all that bull, I was buying something for an investment. I still didn't know what I was doing. I still made a mistake. So how I got out of it was I gamified. There you go, Tara, debt-free in 2025. I love it. So what I did was I gamified my program. So I wrote down every debt, every credit card that I had. I wrote down the total balances that I had. I wrote down the interest rates, what it was costing me, and I wrote down the minimum payment. And then I began to attack, and I mean aggressively attack, the lowest card. And the reason why I attack the lowest card is because, we need wins along the way. Don't you want to see some progress? So if you read a book about finance, they're going to say to you, hey, a smart financial move when you have a snowball is to pay the highest credit card, the one that's charging you the most interest, the one that's costing you the most, pay that one. And then, you pay the minimum on everything else. But what happens is that you're paying on that card for 2 or 3 years, and you're paying on all the other cards for longer periods of time, and you're not seeing progress, so you quit. So we want to win. So I'm being practical. I'm giving you the real deal, how to get out of debt. So you pay the lowest one, and you get rid of that. And every month, my goal was to get rid of that next lowest card, okay? Because some of them were low enough that they were, $300, $500, $1,000. And I didn't have a ton, but I probably had $12,000 of credit card debt. And I just kept rolling those payments. And every time I got rid of one, I'd call them and say, don't close the card, because I made a mistake and I closed the cards and it hurt my credit, even though I was paying them off. So you don't want to close them, but I called them and said, look, close that card. Don't ever offer me another piece of credit ever, because it was a game to me. So I was like, I get to call and say you're fired. Now, that didn't stop them from sending me offers, so don't think it did. So we want to gamify it. How can you say, I'm making progress, hitting this debt, and I'm working overtime, I'm working this second job, I'm working this hustle, and it's to pay off this credit card, and then you celebrate every time you get that card paid off. Not crazy celebration. You wait till it's all paid for that, but a little miniature celebration every time you knock a card out. Boom. Celebrate. I'm gonna have a glass of something special. I'm gonna go to a special dinner, whatever it is. But if you do put it in a card, make sure you zero it out. So you're going to do that. And then finally, well, there's 2 more things. So then you could also, we talked about transferring the debt. You could also refinance it, meaning you could take an equity line. We talked about the equity line last week. So every week's going to stack on top the next week. Okay. So you can refinance it. You can snowball. I just explained that, going from the lowest debt to the highest debt. And then finally, if you're overwhelmed, you can't get out of this, and you make too much money and you can't file bankrupt, what you want to be able to do is, hold on one second. Is this AAA? Hey, how are you, sir? You on the way? Okay, great. What's up? Oh, okay. Then I'll have to take care of that. Can I call you back in like 3 minutes? Yeah, I will. I'm doing a live stream, so I have to call you right back. All right. I knew that was going to happen. Anyway, so what you want to be able to do is you want to take a look. If you don't qualify for bankruptcy, you want to do debt settlement. Debt settlement is going to be where you have to negotiate a payoff. It's going to crush your credit. But if you're unable to make the payment, then you got to do something, right? So if you can't make those payments and you're going to lose your home, or you're losing your car, or you can't make these payments because it's overtaken you, then reach out, text us, and we'll talk to you about debt settlement. It's a way that you can negotiate your payments lower. It's going to hurt your credit. I promise you that, but you won't lose your house, you won't lose your car, and you'll have a better financial disposition. Hey, I hope that these Lunch and Learn sessions help. I want to go through every week and show you what you need to do, how you need to do it, and make sure that you are gaining momentum every time we offer some insights. And if you've missed anything, go back to our YouTube channel. It's you go to YouTube, it's Derek Gant 24K, and you can find this Lunch and Learn series, and we are looking for you to be incredibly prosperous in 2025. I'm Derek Gant. Be your best, bring your best, leave nothing to chance. Hey, if you have a question, make sure you ask. You can still keep that number, text us, follow us. We're happy to see you in.
Are you feeling stuck in life and finances? Introducing the 24K.
Feeling stuck? Lost in the routine of life, your finances a puzzle you can't solve? It's time to break free. Introducing Mutual Magic, a transformative 21-day journey designed exclusively for women ready to reclaim their power and organize their lives. With our expert-crafted network, daily meditations, and essential financial tools, you'll redefine what success looks like. Track your progress within our mobile app, dive into self-care and mindfulness, and connect with money and life coaches when you need guidance. Day by day, step by step, watch as you transform, emerging more confident, focused, and financially empowered. Join us, and in just 21 days, find yourself not just dreaming of a better life, but living it. Mutual Magic, where your transformation begins.